You may have seen the strange shorts on YouTube called the Skibidi toilet. The author of this video is Dafuk Boom, also known as Blue-Gray. He is known to many as the creator of SFM animations. At the beginning of the year, he started making short videos with his own style, and a little later he started making videos with the same Skibidi toilet theme. At the moment, there are already more than 30 of them. Some of them are spin-offs. At first, I didn't pay much attention to it, but after watching them, I realized that there's a lot of interesting things. So let's break down what's going on here and what the storyline tells us. We will only take apart the numbered videos, as the rest are not the storyline, also only the numbered videos get into the season. In the first season, we are introduced to the Skibidi toilets. We see the skybirds show up in different places and can't move, they just sing. But that's just how it seems to us that they only sing. Apparently this is their language. In the third series, people just stand there and are very surprised that they have become big and started to move. It is clear from the ending that they are not very friendly to humans. Season 1 can be described as an introduction to the Skibidi toilets and their attack on the town. By the way, many have already noticed that this town is a map of the big city. Season 2 begins with the introduction of the army and the large-scale attack of the toilets. You can see how their ships appeared and began to release smaller individuals. This is where the fun part of this season just begins. We are shown their weaknesses. You can just wash them off, and then the head will disappear on its own. At the end of the episode, there is a strange toilet with G-Man's face on it. The next thing to look at in Season 2 is the new army with cameras instead of heads. This is where I get a lot of theories. To begin with, the human army was defeated. People with cameras on their heads were created to win. But why do they have cameras instead of heads? It seems to me that because the toilets somehow can create their own kind from the defeated enemies. In the endings, we always see them going for the head of the observer. It's not clear what happens next, and the cameras instead of the head is a kind of protection against this kind of thing. At the beginning of Season 3, we are shown a golden statue and a picture of a toilet on it. I found who is pictured in this photo. It is the very first toilet from the first series. But why do the other toilets respect him? They even built a monument in his honor, perhaps because it is the first representative of this species of creature. Then an agent, let's call him an agent because of his uniform, paints over the photo with a camera graffiti. Apparently, this is a symbol of resistance against toilets. By the way, the background at the beginning of the series shows people walking and cars driving. Apparently, the toilets have won the war, and only the agents are left in the resistance. Next, the agent enters the cathedral where the toilets are being prayed for. Again, you can see a photo of the first toilet on the left. It is clear that their religion is based on it. Agents run into the cathedral and try to flush the preacher's heads down the toilet. The preacher himself eats one of the agents. This brings to mind the idea that toilets grow by eating people. So there are large and small individuals of this species. At the end of the season, we see the beginning of a big battle between the agents and the toilets. Spotted triplets with horns on their heads. To me, this suggests that the toilets have ceased to tolerate attacks of agents and began to take aggressive actions. In the next season, we see the very battle of agents and toilets. At first, the agents won, but then the G-Man appears. He obviously got bigger, and he has the ability to shoot lasers out of his eyes, which help to defeat the agents. In the next episode, we see that the agents use the new technology to easily defeat the toilets and already destroy the ships of the toilets. But in the last episode of the season, something completely unexpected happens. It all starts with preparations for the start of another wall-to-wall battle, but then a very strange toilet appears, made of black metal with engines behind it. He destroys not only his enemies, but also his own. He also has white pupils and speaks very strangely. Season 5 starts out with the agents deciding to do some reconnaissance and creating a hybrid agent toilet sent a spy to their lab. By the way, they figured out this building obviously from the poster of the first toilets. The toilets easily find the spy, and then the scout is attacked by a new kind of enemy which was created in the lab. It has paws present. Let's call them spider toilets. In the last episode of Season 5, the agents have a plan to take down the G-Men and his underlings. They gathered them together when G-Men was explaining something to them and used an orbiter to blow them up. This had no effect. It was probably G-Man who was able to protect everyone. It is noteworthy that we are shown what the spider toilets are for. The fact is that the terrain of the city doesn't allow quick access to the agents who are huddled on the rooftops back home. The toilets had to go through the building to the roof, and the spiders can easily use their paws to climb the walls straight to the skyscrapers. Season 6 is all about the agents' response development. They were able to make an agent giant who can handle new and old enemies with ease. He was even able to defeat a three-headed toilet. But in the next battle with G-Man, he was defeated because G-Man was helped by that strange metal toilet. It was most likely a development of the scientist toilets as well, since all the toilets created by the scientists have white eyes. In the next season, the agents realized who the main problem was and started interrogating the regular toilet chained up. They asked about G-Man E. In the next battle, the agents took a desperate step and tried to flush him out, but for some reason it didn't work, probably because of the lasers. By doing so, he can keep himself safe. At the end of the season, an agent scientist fixes the very same giant that repels the attack of the usual small toilets. Here comes the turn of the last season release so far. You can see in the first episode that the agents can't cope with the large number of toilets that have various improvements. Like this multi-headed one, for example. A new kind of agent comes to the rescue. They don't have cameras instead of a head, but a camera. There are also large agents with speakers instead of a head. They, like the toilets, speak with music. To my mind, this is one way to beat the toilets, because it drowns out the commands of the heads of the toilets. Basically, these agents are much better at fighting and winning victories. At the end of the season, we see a new development of agents. It's a giant with a speaker on his head. He can shoot and fly just like the last agent giant. As is clear from their storyline, we are told of a confrontation between two types, toilets and agents. They each come up with new technology. I'm very curious how this confrontation will end. If you want a sequel, subscribe to the channel, like it, and write a comment.